Okay, and my name is Kenwood Cassens, and I'm a pilot and a mechanic at the old Rhinebeck Aerodrome.
And what are you working on?
This is a 1933 replica of a 1933 Arup flying wing, and we're building it from scratch here. There's none in existence, and the original airplane had a 37 horsepower Continental engine in it. It would do 97 miles an hour top speed, and it would land at 23 miles an hour. The airplane that I'm building here is got a 65 horse Franklin engine in it, so it's a little more horsepower. Wait to that airplane. Hard to talk over that. And I've been working on it for about 6 years, part-time work, and it's almost done right now. So just another month or so of work, and it should be ready to fly.
Now, was this an idea of yours, restoring the Arup, or somebody?
No, it's my idea. I've been interested in the airplane for a long time. It's an airplane that very few people have heard of, and you can actually see old newsreel footage of the original one flying on YouTube. So there's videos of it flying, or movies, I guess you'd call it. Back in the 30s, they had movies, not videos.
So what's left then before you'll be able to fly it?
I just have to do some paperwork for the weight and balance, and the lower engine cowling, the sheet metal around the engine at the lower end has got to be fastened. So it should be that should be it.
Almost there. So
Everything else is done.
After the Arup, what's next?
Probably do some restoration work, some airplanes that we have under restoration here. So.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, your interest in aviation. When did you start?
Well, I was always interested in airplanes, even as a young child. I didn't want to be a policeman or a fireman. I always wanted to be a pilot. So my interest in aviation started at a very young age. And I started out building model airplanes, and one thing led to another. And I lived fairly close to a seaplane base on the Hudson River, so I started out there and hung around there for quite a number of years, and then they went out of business. So after a couple of years, I had to find another place to go look at airplanes, and that ended up in Armonk, New York, and that's where I learned to fly back in the early 60s. And just one thing led to another. After high school, I went to Teterboro School of Aeronautics and got my airframe and power plant license. And then I worked on and off at little airports, and then I got a job as a flight engineer. Got an airplane going yet. I joined the Air National Guard, New York Air National Guard, and I was a flight engineer on C-97 transport aircraft. It's the old Boeing Stratocruiser, the old 4-engine piston jobs. And I did that for about 6 years, and then I got on with as a flight engineer with Overseas National Airways, and did that for about 10 years, and they went out of business. And then I was a flight engineer for Capital and Southern Air Transport, and then I got into crop spraying and was flying Grumman Ag Cats, and that led into banner towing with Ag Cats and firebombing in New Jersey with Grumman Ag Cats. So And then I ended up here at the aerodrome, and I'm still here. So about 9 years off, and went down to Wurtsboro and did some glider towing and flying gliders and stuff. So I got my commercial glider rating down at Wurtsboro Airport. And then I came back here to finish up the Spirit of St. Louis. So this is a very accurate reproduction of the Spirit of St. Louis. It's also known as the Ryan NYP, and NYP stood for New York to Paris. And all that graphics on the tail there is the Ryan emblem and stuff. So this airplane was about 11 years of part-time work, and all the instruments in the instrument panel are exactly the same make and model. The entire fuel system is laid out just like the original, so it's all pretty accurate. The only thing is I only put one gas tank in it. Lindbergh had 5 gas tanks. He had a total of 450 gallons. This one has 1 gas tank, and it's 55 gallons. Of course, they're not going to fly it to Paris. But the gas tank here is a phony one, and our gas tank is up right where it says, right behind the L there in Spirit of St. Louis. So the tank is up forward. And it first flew in December of 2015. And it actually flew a lot better than I expected it to. So, but I've retired from flying it now, and our chief pilot, Clay Hammond's flying it now. He flew it in the air show today. And it's been going real good. It's got the exact same engine and propeller as the original airplane. And the weight of the airplane it's only 50 pounds heavier than what the original airplane was. So we're real happy with that. So
Talk about the building process. It's my understanding that you were able to take actual measurements from the real
oh yeah,
Spirit of St. Louis.
yeah. The there were no plans published when they built the airplane. They sort of built it on the shop floor, and they used components from the M1 mail plane that they had in production, like the entire tail and all the wing ribs were the same as on the M1. So they had a lot of the components already in stock, and the airplane they built it in 60 days. So it went pretty fast. So they did all the test flying out in San Diego, and then Lindbergh flew it back to the East Coast with a stopover at St. Louis. But the flight from Roosevelt Field to Paris, it was 33 and a half hours, nonstop, of course. And he won the $25,000 Orteig Prize. So that was a...
What about your construction process?
Um,
one day you woke up and you said,
Oh,
"Well,
yeah.
let's build the Spirits of St. Louis today."
Well, as a kid, I built models of it. I was always interested in Lindbergh. He was kind of a hero, like he was with Cole Palin. And we had a set. Cole Palin actually started to build one in... he used to go to Florida during the wintertime, and that's where he built a lot of his airplanes. But he started he got some drawings, and that were made available after quite a few people, the airplane became famous. People wanted to either make reproductions or know more about it. So they didn't have any drawings. So the Ryan Aeronautical Library back in, I think in the 50s, commissioned Ed Morrow, who worked on the original airplane, to work up a set of blueprints. And Cole Palin obtained a copy of those blueprints, and he started to make one in Florida. And he had the fuselage all tack welded together. It's all steel tubing. And one of the fellows that worked down there with him in Florida decided to have a friend of his to finish welding the fuselage, and he actually ruined it. He just burned all the welds and undercut and everything. So after Cole Palin passed away, we brought all that stuff up thinking we could, get repair any damaged parts, and we decided just to build a whole new fuselage. And actually, the inspiration for the project that Cole had started was because he got an original Wright J5 engine, and he always was a big Lindbergh fan, and he wanted to have a replica Spirit of St. Louis. So once he got the engine, then he decided to build it. And unfortunately, he passed away before any more work could be done. And like I say, the fuselage that was welded up was terrible. So we started all over from scratch. And when I got looking at the drawings, and some things just didn't match photographs, like the door frame and the shape of the rudder. So well into the project, I went down to the Smithsonian. We have some friends down there, and I got in the museum before it opened for the day, and they took me up in the cherry picker, and I could take measurements and photographs of the actual airplane that was hanging in the Air and Space Museum. So we did that on 2 different occasions. So I was able to get up and look inside. I couldn't climb in it, of course, but I could look inside and take pictures and measurements and stuff. And then when he came back, I made all the corrections on the plans and stuff, and that's what we ended up with. So
Perfect.